Welcome to the Doctor's Kitchen with me, Dr. Rupi. This is the podcast recipe that I did for Amelia Freer. She's written an incredible new book called Simply Good For You, and I make one of her recipes in the book that I describe as a posh pot noodle. It's basically noodles with some beautiful broth and some wonderful flavors, all put into one vessel. It's an incredibly quick meal for if you need a meal on the go or for lunch or whatever. You're going to love the book as well, and you're going to love listening to our conversation. Click on the link down below for the full podcast, and I'll catch you in the kitchen. Amelia, thank you so much for coming down to the studio.
Thank you for having me.
I'm going to be cooking an incredible recipe from your brand new book, Simply Good For You. And I love this recipe because it's exactly the kind of thing that I need when I'm working in A&E. I describe it as a posh pot noodle.
That's perfect. It's exactly what I was thinking, actually, because I had a client at the time who loves pot noodles. I remember thinking there must be a way to do something that's as delicious, you know, but much easier and more nutritious.
I mean, the flavour comes from the miso, which I absolutely love.
I love miso.
It's so versatile as well.
Yeah. And I think these kind of Asian recipes, people often think they're really confusing and it requires lots and lots of different ingredients or flavours. And actually, I think, as you can see, there's sort of 5 main ingredients here. I was doing a podcast yesterday and they were raving about these store-bought cartons of like the miso broth that you can add.
Oh, I know the ones.
And I was like, it's not that difficult to make it, and it doesn't have to cost that much. And that's got sunflower oil and lots of unnecessary ingredients in.
Yeah.
I love just sitting here while you're cooking.
Yeah, I know. It's quite nice, isn't it?
How this book evolved, I just started to write down what I was eating every day and what I was feeding my daughter, and it was just really, really simple recipes. So I'm not ashamed of how simple these recipes are. I'm not trying to impress people with culinary skills here. This is everyday real life when we get home from work and we're completely exhausted. There's been this continuous message that we don't have time to be healthy, we don't have time to cook from scratch. Ain't nobody got time, ain't nobody got time, ain't nobody got time for that. And I get it, because I relate to it. There was a period of time after giving birth to my daughter when I just ate toast.
Yeah.
But I thought, well, okay, if I'm going to be eating toast, how can I make the toast nutritious? So there's a whole chapter in the book called Hero Toppings, which is just how to make a piece of toast a complete meal. Maybe it's okay that we just simplify it down. I mean, of course, there are some people who might have more specific needs. I'm not telling anyone how they need to eat. I'm just giving them options so that they can adapt each and every recipe according to their own, you know, individual needs. But I just don't believe that nutrition and healthy eating should take away the joy of a good meal. And that doesn't mean that we have to be a Michelin-starred chef and you know have really fancy skills and knowledge.
I'll get the meat ready.
Yep, you get that meat ready.
Who's your daddy?
Yeah, I mean, I'm as we're talking, I'm just putting a whole bunch of ingredients in a bowl and pouring hot water over it. So, so it's pretty much
showing everyone that's pretty much a meal made in a few minutes.
In a few minutes. So the buckwheat noodles I've already par-cooked and drained with cold water, a little bit of sesame oil just to make sure that the strands are separated.
Since becoming a mum, I also have so much less time that I really didn't appreciate before. I had to learn quite quickly how to keep my healthy habits in place, and you know, I did lose them for a while. I won't deny. But slowly, because I was feeling rubbish, I thought, okay, how can I get the nutrients that I need into my diet in a really quick and simple way? I don't believe that you know, health is a destination and you sort of start eating one way and then say that's it for life. None of us are perfect all the time, and not us health professionals, and no one in real life. And I think we've got to sort of take that extreme pressure off. Our life doesn't have to be perfectly Instagrammable at every single stage in order to enhance our well-being. Like the other night I was doing an event for work, and they gave me some food that, is not, in my opinion, healthy food, and it wouldn't be the food that I would choose. But while I know some people would be like, oh, I can't eat that, it's bad for me, I'm like, okay, well, it's not what I would choose, but I'm going to eat it.
What I've started doing on my social media posting and the messaging is just posting what I'm eating after a shift. And last week, for example, it was a pizza that I bought.
I saw that.
Yeah, you see that? Yeah, it was a pizza that I bought. I did make it with a broccoli salad and some olives and stuff like that on the side.
Well, that's because we know the importance of eating our plants, and
Exactly.
I think it's perfectly fine to balance out a not so healthy meal by adding some vegetables, and that's what I would do if I order out, or that's what I do with my daughter. I think looking at how I'm feeding a 2-year-old is actually it's just applying that common sense. You can never deprive a 2-year-old of ice cream or cake, it would be unrealistic.
Yeah.
But I'm just moderate about how I expose her to them.
Eat it! I don't want any, thank you.
I remember when I first started talking to patients about the microbiota and stuff, this must have been like 5-6 years ago. I'd just come across this and I was super excited.
Yeah.
I remember I was prescribing some antibiotics for a child, I think it was an ear infection or something quite standard. And I said to the mother, you might want to consider increasing the fibre in their diet. You can give them lentils and chickpeas and like all these different veggies. And she was like, she just turned to me, she's like, you don't have kids, do you?
So I went into motherhood rather blindly, and it has been a case of learning on the hop. When I was studying nutrition, having babies was so far in the future for me, I didn't pay that much attention. Whereas I know that when mothers are sort of at that stage, they really open up their ears and they want to have every bit of knowledge.
So I've been doing my nutritional medicine masters this year at University of Surrey, and there are some modules that I probably wouldn't have chosen to take, but I did them and I learned so much about the complexities of weaning, of preconceptual nutrition, as well as postnatal, or all the different types. And things as a GP, I kind of felt embarrassed that I didn't know about.
Yes, I'm fascinated by what I've learned. Just amazing things like the human body will prioritize the nutrition content of breast milk. Irrelevant of the mother's diet, but it will make sure that the breast milk is nutritious. Things like that, it's just genius.
Order up. Hope you like it.
I'm actually going to try this because I know this is your recipe, so you know what it tastes like.
I love this recipe.
I know, yes. Yeah, I mean, it looks amazing. I do like a broth. Oh, that's wonderful. That's really good. It's got a tiny bit of heat from the chili actually, that's just steeping in there, but that is wonderful. If you want to listen to the rest of the chat that we're going to have on our podcast, just click on the link down below, and all the links for the book and everything are going to be down there, and we'll catch you there soon. Thank you so much for watching this video. There's so many others for you to enjoy right here. Check out thedoctorskitchen.com, sign up to the newsletter where I give science-based recipes every single week. There's a podcast, there's 2 books, there's loads more content on social media, doctors_kitchen, and I hope to see you there.